are recording now. We are recording. It is recording now. So we've been live, but I just started recording.
Are there certain
So
words that I'm not allowed to say, or certain words that I am encouraged to say
um
during this podcast?
I think you can
Say
assume which
moist
ones
as
you're
much as
not.
possible.
I think you can assume which words you're not allowed to say. You're allowed to swear, of course, but like I think you can
Right.
assume what you're not allowed to say. You know, anything
Okay.
like offensive by like I think you could pick it up on like
Hot
what's
take. Just don't say anything that's like intrinsically offensive. You know that. You're
yeah,
an
basically.
enlightened, politically correct man. Uh, don't say anybody's
Sometimes.
last name in any story that you tell or addressing either of these co-hosts. And
Yeah, that's
Right.
one of the big
but
things I
if you could
guess.
say moist as much as possible, that's one word we try to encourage. Since you asked about
We'll
words
throw
we'd like to
some heat
encourage.
that one.
I'd
It's
also like, yeah. Uh,
fine. So should I introduce myself? Because I'm not usually on the show. What should I do?
Yeah, yeah.
well, so
Let's
this
in.
is our what? This is number 5 on our fifth podcast, fourth
Should I pull
Oh
my
recording.
shoot!
doc
I
out?
gotta change the title. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to change the title of the podcast on Twitch.
Whoa.
Let me do
What
that.
did you have it titled as?
It's literally what the it's like what the last one was. It
Uh,
saves it so like on Twitch, the title saves to like whatever you have it on, that it stays that until you change it. So let me pull that up right
uh,
now. But you
as
guys
you
keep
can
talking.
see, me and Peyton are back on our quarantine chat, just like our last cast.
2 weeks.
Uh, Peyton has
2 weeks.
is at an undisclosed location, broadcasting from nowhere. My roommate Matt just cursed at me. Uh, he'll probably be on later. I'm at our usual studio, aka my living room, and we our guest tonight is Colin. He's a upcoming journalist, fashionista icon, one of the funniest people I know. And yeah, Colin, you want to give like a little introduction?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? My name's Colin. I've known Ethan and Peyton since about ninth grade. So what is that, man? What is that? 8 years?
I don't know if this is appropriate to say on stream, but I'm fucking hammered.
Yeah, that is.
Hey,
You're good.
hey,
You're
hey,
good.
hey, that's fine. 9 years, 9 years. I think I no, I met you guys. Was it
You met
2012?
me. You
Yeah, it was
met
like
me way before.
2012.
Yeah, well, you
Well,
met
yeah,
Ethan.
Peyton. I met you forever ago. I just didn't really like.
We
I
weren't really
wasn't friends with you
friends. Yeah,
though.
we
I
weren't
didn't
really
like talk to
friends.
you very much, but we all went to high school together in like
Hmm.
the regular schools and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
you and me
and that
met
was
in
fun.
like middle school.
I met you in eighth grade the year you
Yeah,
came here, but I didn't. I also didn't speak to you very often. Um,
no.
at that point, but about a year later I did. But yeah, I met you guys. I'm kind of like one of the few members of the original friend group we had in high school who I would say like maybe wasn't around, hasn't been around as much in the past 4 years. I mean, obviously there are a few other people, in there who we don't really see much at all anymore. But you guys have probably seen more of each other and more of Zach, much more of each other and more of Zach and Mitch and the others than you have of me the past few years.
Hmm.
But mostly that's because I've been in Ohio and my family actually, moved to Ohio, despite growing up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason for that. I went to school for journalism. I graduated last year. I got a job in journalism kind of recently before that, starting in like August of last year up until like end of February of this year. So for about 6 months, I was doing social media. I was doing marketing for this company. So kind of in the same vein of what journalism is, but also very different. But yeah, no, I'm glad to have finally gotten a job in journalism. I think that's one of the top. That's the topic I kind of brought up to Ethan when I discussed coming on tonight with him. And it's been weird to start a job, obviously during a pandemic, because I started it maybe the second week of March, and pretty much 1 week after I started my job, we got sent home. We were told not to come back to the office, so I haven't been back since March 18th. So a little, honestly, almost a month now. I don't, that's like unabridged introduction. I don't know. I can go
No,
into a lot of stuff, but like, I don't know.
that's
I've talked
good.
for a minute.
I think that's good. I
You don't
think
have to
that's
give us
good.
like the name of the publication, but like what like size publication do you work at?
Oh, super small. It's a local newspaper. We cover local governments, so it's not major stuff. I'd say so the I'd say the biggest difference when I was a student and when I was a student journalist, nobody wanted to talk to me. I would call people on the phone. I would give them my contact info. I'd be like, "Hey, I'm calling you for a story for blah 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 publication." It'd be something for the school or it'd be something for one of my classes, and they don't give a shit. Nobody's gonna see that. They wouldn't call me back. But now that I write for something that people are actually going to see, it's so nice because people actually want to answer me. Obviously look at it as a way to promote themselves or their business, which is kind of annoying. I get a lot of emails like, "Hey, do this story on me." Like, no, asshole. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and give you. I'm not gonna give you free advertising at this newspaper because you want it. But also, it's kind of nice that people actually like care to give me their free time for free. But maybe that's an effect of the coronavirus and just that everybody I've been talking to has more free time.
Yeah,
A
yeah, a
little.
lot of people, there's a lot of people right now that have more free time. I wanted to ask
Exactly.
how things are in Ohio. I had a customer today actually. Uh, I don't know if this is true or not, but she said that in Ohio, um, because the liquor stores are still open in Ohio, I heard, but you can only get it if you have an Ohio state license.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
Ohio's been kind of an interesting state to live in because our governor Mike DeWine really got on top of this. He's not a beloved governor, at least not before this. This is the only issue that I've personally seen this dude get on top of and actually like really do a pretty good job at. But I think he kind of led the charge for a lot of states on like closing shit down, which obviously is a decision not many people were happy about.
Mm.
But right now he's talking about reopening stuff on May 1st, so we'll see if
Oh,
that
okay.
actually happens. I think that's kind of an optimistic projection. We'll see if that actually comes to pass. I mean, I hope it does, but I don't know what the next 3 days are gonna look like. Not to the next 2 weeks from now, but
Or even like
so
two
it,
months, you know. Who knows what's gonna
exactly. But I
happen?
think he did a good job of stamping it out early, so hopefully that'll help Ohio's back up and running, earlier than some other states. But yeah, in Ohio, it's probably been a lot more restrictive. You guys have probably had access to a few more things for a bit longer than I did. Obviously, everything like everywhere is kind of closed right now. But
Well,
yeah, I can't imagine our overall like situations are that different right now.
we um so like you guys started to close down right around St. Patty's Day and we did right like a few days after. So it's not like
Okay.
we did lose access around the same time. Like
Oh
roughly
yeah,
a couple
yeah,
days,
that's
honestly.
fairly similar.
It was like
Yeah, yeah.
very
I'd
cra
say like a week after St. Patty's Day, because
a week. Okay.
I remember after St. Patty's weekend, because like
Yeah.
everybody celebrates St. Patty's weekend on like the weekend before. Uh,
Hmm.
but that Sunday is the day I lost my job, day after St. Patty's Day, and I
That's tough.
remember that whole week shit was like still up and running, and then it was the
Hmm.
week after it was like, okay, everybody's got to close down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That
but
first week shit was still open.
it was in with very very close proximity of time. So, uh
Hmm. Yeah, it all kind of happened right at once. That was kind of crazy. It was interesting to watch the progression.
mhm. So
But
Ethan,
yeah,
you have
yeah.
all the
What else do you
questions.
want to ask?
Ethan has the questions, so
Okay.
oh,
First of
you
all, Colin, first of all, what are you drinking? the real question. That's
Oh, you know
technically still
what?
part
You
of the
can start that.
introduction.
I'm
We
going
all got to
to
talk about what we're drinking.
I'm gonna go
I
grab
actually just
mine.
finished.
So
I actually just
I'll be
finished
right
this
back.
can, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab my other bit. It's a bit more visually impressive here in a second. Here, this is a red stripe. So this is a Jamaican beer. It's very sweet. You can find 6 packs of it at some stores. It's in like a very short, fat bottle. It doesn't look like a traditional beer bottle. Yeah, it's in like the cheaper class of beer, but I think it tastes better than like most of the other cheaper tier beers. Like it tastes better than PBR. It's like a better tasting High Life, but I like High Life. I know you guys maybe aren't big fans of High Life. I know you're a Yingling guy.
I do like Miller Lite though. Like if I'm if I'm bonging or something, you know what I mean? If I'm shotgunning a beer, I'll shotgun a Miller. If I'm like
A
doing
Miller
a good,
Lite.
yeah, day drink,
If I'm,
you know.
I feel like I'd rather have a Bud Light if I'm gonna drink a Bud. If I'm gonna drink a light beer, I don't know why that is. I think the best day drink beer is probably like a little Corona action, like a light Mexican beer is like the way to go.
I mean, all of those really, honestly, kind of in the same boat for me, because to me, the difference in taste between all those is negligible to me. You know what I mean?
What was the
Yeah,
one that
that's
we
fair.
had a couple weeks ago? It was a
Uh,
was it a form of was it wasn't Dos Equis, it was like a Dos
oh
Equis cat
yeah, we
like
had Modelo Negra.
that was
Modelo
Oh, so
Stout.
so
good,
good.
Yeah.
That
so
was
good.
so
Yeah, I
good.
love I love
Was it a
Modelo's.
Modelo?
Modelo's
I
are
thought we had a
addictive.
version of Dos Equis, but
Well, okay, so no, what we had the last time you were over was Modelo Negra, the Modelo basically stout, like cerveza version of
Yeah,
stout.
well, wait,
It's
no, that
good,
was
but
Elliot's.
when
That was
yeah, that
Elliot's.
was Elliot's.
I'm
We did have um Dos Equis MPA Mexican Pale Ale. That
that
we had
that's
that a while back.
that's
That
what I'm
shit's
talking
fire.
about.
That shit's
That was really good.
the
That's what I'm
that's the
talking
most
about.
that's the most unique beer I've ever had. Like
Yeah.
you've heard of a
really like
IP,
better than the Modelo than the Modelo's.
like like when I say better, I mean like as in like compared to microbrews even like
Hmm.
very unique. It's a you've heard of like an IPA, like an India Pale Ale.
It's an
They
MPA.
an MPA, which I've never heard of. I think it might be the only MPA, the Mexican Pale Ale. You know, it has like this weird like almost kind of like paprika taste, like chili powder taste to it at the end. Can't
It
really
was really
describe it.
good. It was really
The
good.
Dos Equis MPA. I
I've
gotta try that.
If you find it, buy it, dude. I've only seen it in a 6 pack at like my local beer distributor, like the local like North Side beer, like down the street from
Mhm.
me. Like
Okay, yeah, there's a specialty shop in Kent called 101 Bottles. I might hop down there and try. Oh, I guess I haven't said where I live. I live in Kent, Ohio. School here. I still live here for some reason. I should move out of here. I hate
Where
it
do
here.
you? I
It's kind
mean,
of
where is
boring.
there a location you would prefer?
If I could move anywhere right now, I would move to either Pittsburgh or Akron. But like
Akron.
with my
What
current
about
job,
Atlanta?
back to the brewery, bro.
What about
Back,
Atlanta,
Atlanta? What about
dude,
Atlanta?
dude.
Atlanta.
All right. Don't hit this
That'd be
man in
cool.
the chat with our life plans, Peyton. All right, they don't need to
What?
Are
know.
you guys trying to go to Atlanta?
Don't hit this man and the stream with our life plans,
What
bro.
do you
We'll talk.
mean? If
That's
we're
after hours. We'll
that's
talk about that
after
Why are
after.
you going
hours.
to
Okay.
Atlanta? What
There's
do you
Okay.
a
guys like
lot. There's a
there?
shit ton of film jobs down there. Well, there were
That's
before the
fair.
Rona took over.
The Rona.
Fuck the Rona.
The
Anyways,
Rona.
uh, Colin, once you get your new bottle, you'll have to tell us what that is. Uh, speaking of
I can go
Mexican
get
beers,
it.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
hold on.
get
You
yeah.
didn't ask me what I was
Yeah,
drinking.
give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Alright, I'll introduce what I'm drinking while he's doing that.
Oh, okay.
Also, last weekend I had, speaking of Mexican beers, I had Tecate for the first time. I saw the beer distributor for the first time. That
Mm.
shit's really good.
Is it?
It's cheaper and I think better than Corona. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm drinking a Lion's Head because
Lion's Head.
I'm unemployed.
Cause I'm unemployed.
Gotta make these cheap beer calls.
Hey, hey, hey,
$6
hey.
for 12 beers.
I still haven't seen you get the Colt. Okay.
That's that's for if I go on welfare. That's
I still haven't seen the Colt 45 come out. So remember when I brought that out? Remember when
Colt
I got
45's
that?
kind of hard to drink by yourself, bro. Like
I did
when you and I,
though.
no, you, me and Matt shared it that one
I
time.
guess
Like
we did all share
when,
it
when you,
together.
me, and Matt shared the Colt 45 after the film fest. That was,
Dude,
like
I
it was a
love Colt 45.
it was an experience. It was like, you and
I
me are like
enjoyed it.
sharing this like shitty alcohol together, and
But it
it's
tastes
good.
it tastes way better than a lot of other
It
beers, to
it
be
tastes.
honest with you.
It's definitely the best as far as malt liquor goes.
Like that I would take that over Bud Light, honestly. I would take that over
It's
Bud
a
Light.
toss up. It's a toss up.
This is what I got right now. I got myself a big Heineken
Oh.
in that green glass
when
bottle.
when the liquor gets tiny, grab a Heine.
That's what they
T-Pain.
say.
That's no, that's what
I love
T-Pain
T-Pain.
says. Oh, you do?
Really?
I'm gonna have to send you a link to this classic video. It's a
Is it a
class.
T-Pain song?
Uh, it's a video of this streamer who was like making like somehow brought T-Pain up in his stream, and his chat went to T-Pain's stream when he was streaming at the time, and they got into like a for fun beef, and they ended up playing Connect 4 with each other on stream.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's such a good video. I'll send you the link to the
You
video.
wouldn't expect T-Pain to be that active in a stream that he's just like directly communicating with
Oh,
one
he
of the
could barely
participants.
set up anything. It's
Hmm.
hilarious. He could barely set up anything. That is a big bottle. I didn't realize how big that was. Wait a second, Ethan, did you think it was a normal bottle, or do you like
Oh shit, that's I thought it was a
it's
normal
like bigger
sized
than
bottle.
your arm.
This is a 22-ounce bottle.
Whew.
Hell yeah.
Where do you get a bottle that big? I've seen
It's like their
cans that
version of the
big.
40. It's like their
Jeez.
version of a 40.
Yeah,
Okay.
guys used to get those on campus all the time. There's a
Really?
store on campus here that's like sells those. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
C-
sure.
I've seen,
Yeah.
cause I've seen
Legend was they didn't card, but like they carded
Legend.
me, so I don't fucking know.
Legend says.
They didn't card Brennan, but Brennan's had a beard since he was like 14.
I started to get carded less
Classic.
ever since I grew this out, actually. I
I
started to
mean,
get carded less.
a
I
lot
didn't
of
think I
places
looked
I
that
go
much
to
older.
don't card me anymore because I'm there like every other weekend. They know me now.
Mm.
But Peyton, what are you drinking? You're drinking in the
Hold up, hold up,
you're
hold
in
up. You
the
gotta.
Fortress of Prohibition right now, right?
So, gentlemen, I have a very, how do I describe this? It's one of a kind, definitely. It's definitely a one of a kind beer. Okay, it's very well known. Um, maybe not the best, but it's a very well known beer. Um, the one,
It's like Britney Spears.
the, the one, the only Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, PBR bottle. Hell yeah.
You drinking a PBR? That's like someone took a fart in your mouth, bro.
It's
That
not
was the
that bad.
first beer I ever
Actually,
drank as
The
an
thing
adult.
is
I didn't drink for a year after that.
because the thing is though, Ethan, the way I'm thinking about this is um because this is the only thing I have right now, right? I'm gonna learn to um deal with the taste um to the point to where whenever I come back and I start drinking other stuff, Bud Light's gonna taste like gold.
Valid point, dude. Valid point.
But
I
not
think
That,
there's worse beers than PBR. Icy Light is definitely several rungs below
I
PBR.
actually don't mind
oh,
Icy Light. I actually don't mind it. I would say it's
Really?
on the same. I would say it's on the same level, right? But
That's fair.
I prefer Icy Light over PBR. But it's
there's
definitely on the same tier. They are definitely the same tier.
there's certainly worse than PBR, but like the fact that people put PBR in like a certain like esteem that it does not deserve, and that's what bothers me. Like
People do like
how
PBR, like actually
how
like it.
Hmm.
people started drinking PBR by choice is what bothers me. Like it's I've drank it when that was the only option. Sure, whatever. You're throwing a frat party, sure, get that PBR.
It's cheap.
You know, it's cheap. It's the move.
Like this
You know,
12 like
if
this case of 12, right? This 12 pack of bottles, $11.
yeah,
It's less,
but it's cheap.
it's
It's cheap as hell.
yeah, it's like
It's
80 to
cheap
90 cents a beer.
if
That's
that's what you can afford at the time, go for it, man. If
yeah.
that's all you can get, if you're drinking a Mac, if you're trying to get a lot of people, sure. But don't tell me it's good. Like if you're trying to get a lot of beer for a lot of people, Bud Light is better, basically the same price. And then don't be going out to a bar when you have like a stable job and you can definitely afford even a Yingling, you know, and order yourself a PBR because you like
This
it.
doesn't
Okay,
even say what
that's the
the
problem I have with it.
this doesn't even say what the alcohol content is in this.
Most
I think it's like
macro
5.
beers, most
Is
macro
it?
beers don't.
Oh,
Once
Probably
like
like 5.
usually
oh.
only like higher quality beers say it, and they put it on there as like a flex. They're like, oh, this IPA has 11%. Well,
Well, no, because
only drink it if you have a beard.
Bud Light says it has like 3. Bush says it has like 2 point something or 3%, something like that. I
Bush
swear.
is
So
half piss and half water.
Bush is, I think, I don't know how it's a mainstream beer, to be completely honest with you. I don't know how Bush is a
Because
mainstream
it's
beer.
literally one of the cheapest. Same with Bud Ice. You see those big things with those big things of Bud Ice at the gas station, like that's what you buy when you've got like 3 DUIs under your belt. You had to take a bike. You had to take a bike to the gas station. I always see people on their bike, and I'm like, "That's the DUI bike. That's it. They're going to get beer at the gas station, but they have a DUI. You can tell. Don't tell me you guys haven't seen people like that and been like, "Yep, I know what that. I know what
I
their story is."
haven't. I haven't. Ethan
well,
might have.
I
But Ethan,
I
Ethan.
have.
Ethan
I
lives in
mean,
the city.
yeah.
He's seen that a billion times.
No,
They
for
probably
real,
just
Tim. I saw
walk. They
that.
probably just walk.
I saw that more
Yeah,
living in the suburbs, dude. Because like
Really?
people had to bike to
that's
the beer
fair.
store. Or in the city, there's enough
You
beer
can just
stores you can
walk.
walk to any one of them. Yeah, but no, dude.
That's fair.
I do be see though. Me and my roommate walked.
Well, it's
Me
the
and
same
Matt
type of
walked to the
look.
beer store last week, but that's just because we're bored and we want some exercise.
It's the
That's
same
fair.
type of look that like you can definitely tell when a family comes into Walmart. You can definitely tell when they are using food stamps. Like it's just like it's not even a question. Like you just know. Like at least for
Hmm.
me because I've worked there. It's like I I just know. I know. And it's not a shocker to me. It's like yeah, yeah. I hate to be that guy, but
No, I
you're
mean,
not helping your case.
when I used to work at a gas station, people would come in and use EBT, and you could kind of always tell, which is Ohio's food stamps. You can kind of always tell,
Oh,
when they
that's
might pull out the card.
EBT is also the same for like that's what PA uses.
Okay,
It's just everyone calls it food stamps. I don't know why.
okay, yeah, I didn't know if that was like a national agency or what.
I think
It's
it is a
national.
national.
I think a lot of us still just refer to it as food stamps because we're not with the times.
No, because
I mean,
even they
they're
call it
literally
that.
like food tickets. It makes
Yeah.
sense to call it that. I think.
Hmm.
I think that's an accurate name. I don't. I don't see why some people. I don't see why people would be offended by that. But I mean, I guess referring to people like having poverty in any ways may be offensive to them. I don't know. No
I'm.
offense, Peyton. We used to roast you with that one a lot, but only because we like knew it wasn't especially true.
I mean, look at where I'm at now. Look.
Yeah, you're in the 10 Cloverfield Lane bunker, bro.
Yo, that was a good ass movie.
I like that one.
It's an
I didn't watch the Cloverfield Paradox. I heard that was awful,
Yeah, I've heard it was
but
shit. I was gonna watch it, but then I heard it was shit.
I want to watch the original Cloverfield. I haven't seen that actually. I need to watch that. I've been on a big Blade Runner kick recently. I watched Blade Runner for the first time about like a month and a half ago, and
See, I still
I've
haven't
been
seen
thinking
it
about it a
yet.
lot.
I still haven't seen it yet. I think I'm finally
Oh
gonna
yeah,
watch
Oh,
it pretty soon on
dude.
Netflix. So,
Yeah, dude. Let me know when you want to watch 2049. Either of you,
You
because
have it, right?
the first.
Yeah, I
No,
haven't watched it yet. I intend to watch
what?
that. I
Dude, we gotta
also
watch it. Cause
and
I
then
don't like the original Blade Runner. Like 2049, I fuck with. That's a good ass movie. But the
yeah, the
original one
original
is.
Blade Runner is kind of overhyped. It's people talk about it like it's one of the greatest films of all time, and it's okay. It's cool. It's very slow, and it kind of launched cyberpunk as a genre, which cyberpunk is dope. But other than that, it's not that exciting of a movie to watch or that interesting.
Like I appreciate what it did for the times.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, establishing the cyberpunk neo noir genre. But
Exactly.
like fuck, dude. Like put a song in there that's not elevator music. The sound design, the musical choice for that movie was terrible.
I
The
didn't
whole
pick
movie
up
is
on
elevator
that.
music.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's honestly not that exciting. They should have gone with some like weird, like techno, like crazy stuff. That
Well,
would have
I
Like
fit the
think.
vibe more.
Well,
it
But
also
yeah,
Ethan says that 2049 is like a lot better and should be the one that's more
yeah.
talked about. And didn't it almost win Best
it's really upsetting
Cinematography?
it's not.
Didn't it win or it got nominated for Best Cinematography?
It won Best
Oh,
Cinematography.
it
Roger
did.
Deakins, the best, as we talked about in our first two podcasts. Roger Deakins, best DP alive, got his first actual Oscar finally after being nominated a million times. Finally got it for 2049. Got his second one this year for 1917, which I still haven't
Oh
seen.
shit,
But yeah,
they
no,
got the reverse Leo.
Deakins is the best DP ever, like currently living. Uh,
I started to watch 2049. I know it gets super weird at some parts. There's like a big pink or blue lady that floats around who like I don't know
oh,
what she's up to.
that's not that weird. It's when you see it, it's not
Okay,
weird.
Hey, listen,
It
Colin.
makes
okay.
perfect sense.
It's hard to call anything in cinema weird after watching Evangelion.
Eva,
Okay,
yeah, dude.
it's hard to
Yeah.
call anything weird after seeing End of Evangelion. Like, let's be completely honest. Like, you don't know what you're watching that second half of that movie. Like, you really don't. Like, it's like
I don't
to
know what I was watching any of that movie. That movie's awesome. That movie's
the
incredible.
first half is sick. The second half
You know,
is
Colin,
something. Is very
incredible might
something.
be a strong word. I
Hey,
liked it. I
Really?
liked it. I liked it, but I wouldn't call it incredible.
I think I think Evangelion is high art, and I
Evangelion.
think it deserves praise that very few anime shows watch. But
Hey,
honestly,
hey,
I
like,
probably only have that perspective on it because my friend Darian is super into it and has analyzed it to the point where
well,
he just
Riley
says some
loves
wild
it.
shit about it.
Riley
I could
loves
see
it.
Riley loving it.
Yeah, that's what Ethan said.
I don't
Ethan
want to
was like,
retread on topics that you've done on previous
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
yeah,
We
I don't
yeah,
want to.
yeah,
let's respect. We gotta respect the audience a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Unlike
yeah, yeah.
we
We
gotta
don't, we
respect
don't
the
need to.
audience. Unlike the director of Evangelion.
We don't. Yeah,
He
yeah.
is working in budgetary restraints.
We
Let
we
him go.
we we talked about that as well in the podcast. So like, anyway, we you,
Hideaki Anno saved anime in 1996, and if anybody wants to, if you want to come for me on that one, you
oh,
can.
that's a fact. Like, he revolutionized the industry and he completely changed it, and
Exactly.
that's not even
Um,
arguable.
Let's
But
let's,
anyway,
let's
anyway.
talk about
but
like
yeah,
in general. Let's talk about Colin's life.
I'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told
We'll
Ethan
touch
a
on
little
anime
bit.
at the end, because
I told
honestly, I've been
Ethan a little
watching
bit
a
about.
lot of anime this year.
Okay,
Like
that's
a
what I like to
stupid
hear.
amount. I fuck.
Well, there's a stupid amount of
Well,
it.
There is a
um,
let's talk
stupid
about
amount.
if we're gonna talk about anime. Let's talk about that towards the end.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
talk about
that's fair.
because anime's
Yeah.
been
So
covered to death.
All right,
So yeah,
Ethan.
a little bit more about my job and like the day to day. So
Well, Ethan has the
I cover
questions. Ethan has
No,
the
no,
questions.
fucking go
Oh,
talk.
okay, okay, okay.
okay.
Talk about life, dude.
Yeah, okay.
So I cover local governments, I cover county governments, and even the people who are involved in county governments admit that a
The
lot of
people.
this stuff that they do is like watching paint dry. Like you'll go to a meeting for so I work in a county called Geauga. It's kind of like adjacent to Cleveland. Very rural. There are 13 communities.
Uh,
Uh, uh-oh.
Colin, my boy, see money,
Did he did he
dude. Your
lag
mic
Yeah,
out?
cut
okay.
out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, now I can. Now I can. You cut out.
All right, is there an echo?
I can hear myself when we talk, so
Oh
It's
shit, I apologize.
hey, it's worth it. Just fucking send it.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Okay,
keep
so
going.
there are 13 communities within this one county. I don't know how usual that is, but that's insane. Each of these communities has either like a board of trustees or a village council or something. And these boards of trustees or these village councils meet like once every 2 weeks to make what I would call fairly mundane decisions like, hey, we're going to resurface this road in a few months, or we're going to redo the water sewer line under this road. You know, things that affect the community and things that are important at the end of the day, but things that, aren't really that interesting on like a macro level perspective if you're trying to look at it from the top down.
Hmm.
So
Still things that are worth it. What?
this is not hard hitting news. There's
Uh, it's it's hard news in the fact that it's still covering government, but it's not like people are jumping out of their seat to read this stuff, unless they're maybe over the age 50. People like that tend to be more involved with county governments and county politics than younger folks for sure. But every
yeah.
once in a while, I do write some pretty cool stories. I was telling Ethan via text. So a few weeks ago, mostly, pretty much all of my reporting since I've started has dealt with COVID-19 and just like coronavirus and people's responses, different communities' responses to coronavirus or different businesses. One of those involved interviewing the president of Cleveland Cinemas, which is a group of theaters in Cleveland, one of which is the Cedar Lee Theater. It's a very historic cinema in Cleveland. Ethan, you may have heard of that one. You guys both may have heard of that one. It's a nice spot. I saw Uncut Gems there among a few other films, and it's a really great theater. But he was telling me the story was about they're doing a virtual screening room right now, so you can pretty much go online, and this is another way for them to make money while theaters are closed down. You can go online and you can basically pay money to stream movies. It's obviously not as cost effective as something like Netflix or Hulu, where you pay $10 a month and get a billion things for free. This is like $10 a movie, but it's still a way to support the film distributor, independent filmmakers, and theaters at this time. And he was telling me about this one independent film studio he'd get me in contact with. He got me in contact with them basically, and they got me in contact with a filmmaker who had made a documentary last year about Neil Armstrong. Um, this is kind of an interesting story. The dude went and met with Neil Armstrong's sons, and pitched the movie to them and was like, "Will you help us with the movie with information, interviews, quotes, stuff like that?" They were like, "Sure." They were like, "Do you have anybody in mind to voice this documentary?" And this filmmaker I was talking to, this dude's funny. His name was Gareth. I won't give away his last name, but super British dude talking to this dude in London, just like the most fucking British accent you could ever imagine. Um, he's telling me, he's like, yeah, so the sons of Neil Armstrong offered, we have two people in mind who could perhaps be the narrator for this picture. And they said the options of people that they personally knew who they could reach out to were George Clooney and Harrison Ford. And I guess the studio preferred Harrison Ford. um, I guess the reasoning for that is that Harrison Ford is more of like a gruff cowboy kind of thing, the whole
Yup.
Han Solo space cowboy kind of thing. um, I don't know why Neil Armstrong knows George Clooney and Harrison Ford. Probably just because those were two like super cool actors, and he's like also just like a super cool celebrity guy. So I'm sure if you're Neil Armstrong and you're just like, I want to meet Harrison Ford, people will make that happen for you, I guess. Um, so that was really cool.
I
So
guess
he
people
worked
would
with.
just make it happen.
So it was cool being able to have access to that antidote. To that anecdote. I was like, why? I was like, that's interesting. Why'd you guys choose Harrison Ford over George Clooney? Like, I would say that George Clooney is a bigger actor, but
Well, I
Harrison Ford is more thematically fitting
I
for that.
well, I think like personally, like it was a voiceover, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, he voiced over, and then it probably did like the thing in documentaries where it cuts to his face, and he's
See,
like talking for a little bit.
if I was listening to a documentary, I think I would prefer George Clooney's voice. He's got a more like
Yeah,
deeper, more subtle voice. I think I would prefer to hear his voice than Harrison Ford's, because like anytime I
That's
hear Harrison Ford's voice, I either think of Indiana Jones or Star Wars. Like
on
it just is
Solo.
like it's just there, right?
Mhm.
I'm with the filmmaker on this one, man. Harrison Ford all the way. Like, dude, like
That's what I'm
Harrison
saying.
Ford's got that depth. He's got that gruffness. He's older now, so he talks slower.
Yep.
Whereas Clooney, like, think about Harrison Ford in, like Cowboys versus Aliens. Slow, methodical,
Uh,
sexy.
I
Think
haven't
about
seen that.
Clooney. It's a great, very underrated film. Sorry everybody for that static. Uh, when I hear Clooney's voice, I think uh fucking Oh Brother Where Art Thou, where he like kind of talks through his nose and he just like talks real fast the whole movie,
Well,
and
Yeah,
it's
and
more
he is
comical
very,
than anything else.
but
he's really goddamn.
that's in that movie though. Like he doesn't
Right, but
talk
like
like that. Like
that's it's
he
still
doesn't talk like
what
that in most of his movies.
it's
Most
still
people,
the connection there, bro.
well,
Like
that's your connection. Like I'll believe it or not, a lot of people haven't seen Oh Brother Without like Where Art
I
Thou.
I believe it. I'm well aware they haven't seen it, which is why I'm plugging it right now. But
Whereas
like
like like it's hard to find people who haven't seen Star Wars and Indiana Jones. It's hard to find
exactly,
people who
because
haven't.
Harrison Ford has the better voice.
No, I think those are just bigger movies. Because a lot of
I
people have
think
seen
that
the Ocean's movies. Like,
okay, here's the point that I'll make. Harrison Ford is cool as fuck. George Clooney is kind of cool, but he's not that cool.
He's hot. He's hot, but he's not that cool.
Yeah, he's a good looking dude, but he's just a dude in a suit. He's like a
okay, okay,
business. That's his
yeah, 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 okay,
archetype of
okay,
a
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
businessman,
that's
you
true.
know?
That's very true. I can
Whereas
agree with that.
Harrison Ford is not only sexy, but he's also a badass. So like,
Hold
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
I'm gonna go run and take a piss. I'll be right back.
yeah. Okay, a very,
that's.
very,
I would like to put that quote up on my wall. I'm gonna go run and take a piss. I'll be
very
right.
underrated film. It's not like an amazing film, but it's just an underrated film. Like not a lot of people like talk about it. It's a Harrison Ford movie. Fugitive. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh,
Fugitive's a
dude, I grew up on The Fugitive, bro. That's my mom's favorite movie, practically.
it's actually like it's really good, and not a lot of people talk about it surprisingly.
Dude,
So,
I've been watching The Fugitive since I was like 7, bro. Like, Doctor, his wife Doctor, he gets framed, bro. He fucking yeets himself out of that sewer, like, waterfall thing.
Mhm.
You got Tommy Lee Jones and you got Harrison Ford. Now, today, Harrison Ford has aged, and he's like the same age Tommy Lee Jones was when they made The Fugitive.
True.
So he's like playing those type of roles now. The tables have turned. But like great ass movie. Two very like stoic old men type people
Yeah.
characters in that movie. Great 90s film.
I just mentioned
But yeah,
Fugitive. I just mentioned Fugitive. That it's a very I think I should say underrated, underappreciated film.
Underappreciated for sure. Okay, so wait, real quick though, on The Fugitive, it has this aesthetic that's very 90s, like New York in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Like Northeast America in the wintertime, urban environments. Well, it's Chicago, but we'll say urban environments in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of 90s films, for whatever reason, have that aesthetic to them that you don't really see in the 2000s. Like shitty cities covered in snow. You know what I'm talking about?
I think
Like
I
was Home Alone 2 made in the 90s?
well yeah
both of
yeah
both of them were 90s, right? Weren't they?
Okay.
yeah well Home Alone 2 is it was before 9/11, so
Yeah, so 90s. Like I'm saying, Fugitive, the Home Alone movies.
Did
I,
Die Hard take place in New York?
I don't know
yeah,
if it's New York, but it takes
Yeah.
place in a city. But like
in
that
wintertime.
aesthetic,
Probably in snow.
that aesthetic, which you're right,
Like
Ethan. We
it,
don't really see that nowadays.
it's not a good aesthetic, so I'm like I understand why we don't see it anymore, but for whatever reason, that
12
period of
Monkeys?
time,
You ever seen 12 Monkeys?
I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
Oh
I've
my
heard of it in
god, you
like
guys need to watch
sci-fi.
12 Monkeys.
Ethan,
Bruce Willis's best performance. I'm not even from.
we need to
That's
watch 12 Monkeys simply because of 12. Ethan,
yeah, dude. Fuck 12.
fuck 12, fuck
Fuck 12.
12.
Well, the abandoned house across the street from me. One day I woke up and it just says fuck 12 spray painted all across it.
I think it
No
was
matter
there when I came for 4th of July. I think I've seen that.
okay, so you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. No matter where you stand in my living room,
You can
and
see
You
it.
see
you can
it?
always see it. It's
That's
my
so funny, bro.
it's my
Yeah, that
favorite piece of artwork
Do,
that I have.
have you figured
that
out what
snap
it
you sent
means
me of
yet?
that girl standing in front of that shit was funny as hell.
Oh yeah, so to elaborate on what he just said, the other day I was sitting in my living room doing classes on my computer because what the fuck else am I gonna do? I go to get the mail, and I see these two like high school chicks posing. The one chick's posing, the other chick's taking the picture. That's how I knew it was like a pose for certain. She's posing in front of the fuck 12 graffiti on the side of this abandoned house,
Just
and I was
wait until
like, you
you
know,
see it in your Instagram, in your like Instagram story, or not story, like in your Instagram searches, and the search filter just goes random. It's gonna pop up, and you're.
I was I was like, you know, I'm not sure if that's the best thing to pose in front of. Like, you know, I'm not sure if I don't know. But I opened the door to get my mail. I was like, I yelled at them. I was like,
Fuck
they
12.
they both stared at me like scared shitless. I was like,
Fuck 12.
fuck 12. And they laughed and I like grabbed my mail and went inside. I was like, yeah,
Fuck,
whatever.
fuck
It was pretty fucking funny.
So, fuck Zach.
12.
I almost said his last name. I listen to so many podcasts and people always accidentally say people's last names. I'm like, how stupid can you be for like
How
saying
stupid!
somebody's
And you
last name that
literally
you know in
almost
real
said
life?
it. And you
I mean,
literally almost did it.
a lot of podcasts, it's not a big deal. But like, we also, I don't know, we just say a bunch of random shit on this one. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'd rather
mean,
cover my ass than not cover my ass.
literally,
You know?
I can say this name on air and to whoever because it's literally two of like the most. Zach's last name is one of the most common names in like the like there are a billion people named the same thing as this person who we know. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
He's not wrong. Like, if he
Like
were to say
even
it,
if somebody were to listen to this
nobody.
podcast, go on Facebook and try to look him up, they couldn't find him. They wouldn't be able to find this dude like at all.
They probably
Which I
already
think
know
is
what it
funny.
is based off of context. Like, like they probably would literally Google search most common last name in America,
For
and it would probably
real.
pop up. Actually, I'm gonna Google search that right now,
It's
just
probably up
just
there.
curiosity.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in knowing that myself now.
It's
In the
gonna, you
U.S.
know, with the way,
It
is it? Because I was gonna say, like,
Oh, it is.
is it? It's is it the name or is it like a Hispanic name? Because like you know, a lot more people are immigrating from Hispanic countries.
Oh, that's true.
So it's like I I mean like it, but it is. It's literally the highest, along with
Wait,
like
is it literally?
at
That's
least
so
from this
funny.
Google search, it is.
Nothing inside
Wow.
jokes. So, Colin, what was it? You kind of touched on this earlier. If you don't want to answer this because you already said it, that's fine. What was it like starting a new job at the start of a pandemic? You said you had to leave basically a week after you started. Was that like, how did that affect you, like as an employee, as a writer? What was that like? Like, for maybe not first, but like maybe not first big boy job, but like finally getting to like not everybody gets the job in their field after college, and you did.
I mean, well, I
Kudos
mean,
to
not
that, but
immediately. I can talk about the road leading up to that. So
that's interesting. Yeah.
I graduated in May of last year. My lease at my apartment in Kent pretty much ended at around the same time, probably like 2 weeks after or maybe a month after I graduated. So I moved back in with my parents for a few months just until I was able to find a full time job in my field or some kind of like full time like big boy job. I was delivering pizzas. I pretty much did that until August. So I pretty much did that for like 2 or 3 months last summer, and it was an okay gig. I mean, at first I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I graduated and I'm delivering pizzas, but like so many people I know have graduated school and like go and work part-time jobs. There's actually honestly there's no shame in working part-time jobs for a few months, even years after you graduate. You know, whatever you need to do. I have honestly no judgment in my heart for people who don't go right into their field because it's hard to find a job right in your field. You know, journalism, people aren't really chomping at the bit to hire people because people don't have any fucking money right now. So I had a bit of trouble finding that job. I'm actually using Indeed and some other jobs like that. I eventually landed 2 interviews on the same day. One was to be a social media director at this company, and the other one was to be, I think it was a copywriter at um, at the National Inventors Hall of Fame. I didn't get the National Inventors Hall of Fame job. I got this other job, and I won't say what company it was at, but it was at a telecommunications company, and I was doing social media for them and marketing. And while marketing, I would say, is kind of an adjacent field to journalism and there's a lot of crossover in terms of the skills. It's a lot different. I didn't know how to business to business market. And when you're in telecommunications and marketing, that's what you're doing. So this company, even describing the products that this company made can be a little bit difficult. The most relatable example that you guys would probably have seen in your day to day lives are if you look at any telephone wires, sort of towards the end by the poles, you'll see it's almost like a tennis rack or a tennis racket shaped design. It's like sort of like a little like oval that had it's like a bit smaller at one end.
Yeah, sure.
Um, yeah, that shit holds fibers. Our company made that. So obviously marketing this stuff is extremely difficult, especially when you don't have a marketing background. And to compound my not enjoying that job, it was also an hour drive from where I currently live. So I would drive there. I would wake up at like 6 in the morning, drive there for an hour, work for like 8 or 9 hours, and then drive home. So that was like 12 hours of my day. So honestly, that was just like
It's awful.
awful. Like
Yeah, I
that
was
was
gonna
just a
say
rough way to
that's just
live.
awful.
Yeah, no, that was like a shitty way to live for like about 6 months. Especially because the job wasn't something that made me feel fulfilled or I didn't feel like I was like adequately performing the job at all just because of my lack of like background, things like that. So I kind of just toughed it out for 6 months, and honestly, that was one of the shittiest 6 months of my life. Just like going through that and like the commute being probably the biggest reason I hated it.
That's a
But
long drive. That's a long drive.
it's a long drive. But basically, the whole reason I told that story is to kind of illustrate. You know, people always say that it can take a while to find a job in your field, but like it does take a minute. I didn't get this job until March, and even that was less than a year after I graduated. So I'm sure I could have
Which
been in
is
a much worse
incredible.
boat.
Which is
Yeah, you know,
still
it
like
could have been
really
much worse.
crazy. So
But yeah, so that's kind of my advice. You know, you guys might take a little while to find jobs necessarily doing, and anybody else listening to this might necessarily take a while to find jobs doing what they want to do or doing what they're practically trained to do. But you know, it can be a bit defeating. But you know, you gotta kind of just like keep pushing it. Even if you don't get the job, just keep applying for new ones and keep going to interviews. Even though it sucks, you'll get one eventually.
you gotta push forward like we're pushing Corona. That's same. It's
What
like
was it like after like a whole, not even a full year of like searching for like a job you would at least enjoy, and then
um,
leaving it?
Um, yeah, so leaving that job was also fairly difficult. You know, I've only worked part-time jobs, and you guys both know my history. I've kind of jumped around, even even in high school between like a
Yeah.
lot of different jobs, in a
mhm.
lot of different places. But yeah, this wasn't the longest job I've ever worked in my life. That was probably like when I was working at Panera. I worked there like over a year or some shit like that. But I worked this place about 6 months, but I had probably put the most time in there just because I was doing consistently 40 hours every week, and that was my first full time job. So, you know, leaving that and leaving all the people I was friends with there um, was kind of difficult, and it was probably one of the hardest. It was definitely the hardest decision I make about pretty much as soon as the newspaper job got offered to me that I would take that just because one, not driving an hour, and two, actually doing what I'm trained to do is super fulfilling and rewarding and makes work interesting instead of something that I dread and hate.
Mhm.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
it's been okay. I've had a bit into this new job. Honestly. You know, anytime you start a job, you have a shit ton of questions for your superior, and instead of being in the office with my superior, I have to sort of text or call my boss and wait for her to be available. And if she's not available, I'm kind of shit out of luck.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm still very thankful that I have a job. And obviously, I'm sad that you're unemployed. I'm sad that many other people are. So people who are on unemployment are making more money than I am. So hopefully, you're getting those checks.
Dude,
Yeah.
people got their Trump bucks. People,
Yeah, I did
some
not get
people
my
got.
1200, but I hope you get the 1200 too.
I'm curious on when mine will come in. Apparently, yeah, I don't know if I'll like get mine. I don't know when I'll get mine in. So
PNC, I couldn't even check my account on PNC the day that came in because it
it
was just
just,
down, and I assumed it was because so many people were checking their accounts.
yeah.
But yeah, any
This
other questions?
customer,
That's kind of like.
uh,
Sorry if I just like filibustered up here for like.
no,
That's
no,
what podcasting is, my guy.
yeah,
That's fair.
and ours is very laid back and chill. So
Yeah,
go
so
on.
yeah, some podcasts, like my boy Stevie, his podcast is very organized and it's good.
Uh,
It's very organized. Some podcasts, like the Freakonomics podcasts, are is too organized. It's annoying,
yeah,
actually.
that's fair.
If you've ever listened to it, it's good. You
Couple
get a lot of good
times,
information, but it's too organized. And then ours is like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, like
yeah.
very
Yeah.
like intentionally disorganized. But there's an audience for that.
Intentionally.
There's an audience
Hey,
for that. I hope. I hope
nothing,
there's a fucking audience for that.
nothing
Uh,
beats our first, or no, nothing beats episode two. Nothing beats episode two.
yeah. Yep.
Nothing beats episode two. You
Was
know
that
what?
the eighth one?
No, episode two
No.
was our drunk cast when we
Because
literally were
Oh,
just
it's something.
talking about the winners of the Academy Awards.
Yeah, so if someone's new to the cast and they're watching right now or they're watching this playback on YouTube, go to episode 2. It's something.
Oh, it
Uh,
is something, all
you can
right.
you can you can really see where we came from.
It's very
so
long. It's
were
very
you guys
long.
happy with Parasite one or?
Um,
Not
so
we'll keep this brief, but
yeah, we'll keep it brief.
have you watched Parasite yet, Peyton, on Hulu? 'Cause it's on Hulu. For all of our viewers, it's on fucking Hulu.
I do not have Hulu, first of all.
First of all, whenever you come over, you gotta watch because we have Hulu.
Okay. So meaning no, I have not seen it yet. So, um,
Colin, have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. I actually saw it at that Cedar Lee theater, one of the theaters owned by the dude I was talking to earlier. He was president of the company, doesn't fucking own them. But yeah, I liked it. It certainly wasn't what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be a straight thriller the whole way through, but I I didn't like it as much as I thought it would based on the praise it was getting, but I still liked it a lot.
okay.
Yeah, I also saw it in theaters. Um, because Peyton and I were trying to see every Best Picture nom for the
Mhm.
podcast.
Yeah.
We fell short of that goal. I didn't even see everything, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult to do any given
it
year unless you're literally your job, you know.
Yeah.
it really is. Um, I was rooting for Joker, and I still uphold that Joker should have won. But Parasite was definitely my second choice. Like
Yeah.
what I would have wanted to win next over anything else. Yeah.
I wouldn't say so. Like you say that Joker got snubbed. I wouldn't call it a snub, if
No,
especially if it was your second pick. Like if Parasite
I
was
don't
your
want to get
second
too deep
pick.
down this rabbit hole because we've literally had two podcasts about it already. But I didn't say I said if episode one is lost to the cyberspace, so we don't have me
The
saying this.
Void.
But I said if Joker lost to Parasite, it's not a snub. If
Oh, okay.
Joker loses to anything else,
It's a
it's a snub.
snub. Yeah.
Parasite.
Okay, so you liked Parasite
Oh
then?
yeah, I thought it was great. I personal opinion, I thought Joker was better, but I don't think Parasite winning is a snub to Joker.
Okay.
Anything else winning definitely would have been.
So did you like Joker, Colin?
I actually didn't see it. Isn't that crazy?
That is
That's you
crazy,
know
actually.
biggest movie of the year, but fair. Fair
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
abstain from seeing the biggest movie
Big
of the
if
year. I can
true. Big if
definitely
true.
understand why.
Can I listen? I'll tell you guys something. I when I tell people that I've never seen Forrest Gump, the reaction on their faces is wild. And when I tell them that I have no intention to ever watch Forrest Gump and have no interest in seeing that movie, the expression on their face is even wild.
Hey, that's fine by me. It's
Wild,
that's fine.
because we
That's
Yeah.
literally
fine.
had a debate about this on St. Patty's Day,
Who?
and
Who?
I mean, like it looked
Pete,
like
you were here for this
I was, but like
with
with
Matt's
Matt,
cousin.
I bet
Yeah,
Matt's
and
cousin went off. Like it must be
it was
watched by
silly.
every American.
about
I've heard people say that like you're not American if you haven't seen Forrest Gump. Like, what does that mean? Like
My
what?
one film professor's like, yeah, it's shit, and people get all butthurt about it, and I'm like,
yeah,
I mean, it's good. It's like a heartwarming movie, kind of
like I
it's
haven't
just
seen it, but I know in my mind that I have seen better movies than that movie when I watch it. Like
There's
that's
definitely better movies.
that's
There
fair.
is.
And I can't name offhand other films that like. There's definitely other films that I have that thought process about. But yeah, that's a valid reason to not see it.
I have
I
seen
also have
it,
that
and
thought process
it's.
about Titanic, but I would be much more open to watching Titanic than I would be to watching Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I'll
To
agree
be
on
fair.
Titanic for sure.
What about Pocahontas? What about Blue
Well, that
People Shit, I'm like echoing.
wait.
What about Blue People Pocahontas?
Peyton loves to talk about this. Yes.
Blue People Pocahontas. What's your opinion on that, Colin? Uh-oh.
So that's
I mean,
he's
it's
referring to Avatar by James Cameron.
I don't know how they haven't come out with the second one yet. They've been talking about coming out with the second Avatar for so many goddamn years. Like,
Dude, and
just
then
do it.
I love how they announced like, oh yeah, there definitely isn't gonna be a second one. There's definitely gonna be like five. It's like what? It's
Yeah.
Franchise.
yeah, like no, there
James
isn't.
Cameron, dude, Cameron, fucking sell it to Disney. Next movie will be out tomorrow, guarantee it.
Dude, Avatar 2.
Yeah, I agree. That's fair.
Avatar 2 will come out when the FF7 remake is actually complete. It's not complete. Like they call in laughs.
That's
Cause
gonna
like
be a wild journey, and I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I'm not. That's a kind of a niche topic, so I'm gonna save it.
Final Fantasy 7. Remember when Final Fantasy 15 was Final Fantasy 13 versus Colin?
Yeah, it probably would have been better. Actually, the Final Fantasy VII remake. I'll touch on this very briefly. Reminds me a lot of a hybrid of Final Fantasy 13 and 15, but surprisingly, I like. That sounds like something that's really bad that I just described, but it's
I was
actually
about to
really
say,
fucking.
like 13 is like like
13
it's
isn't
like
good.
unanimously like the worst Final Fantasy game, like without question. Like I don't think anybody has ever argued that like it's a good game ever. Like
I, hmm, that's fair. Yeah,
like
that's
I don't
fair.
think
Yeah.
I've heard like I like I don't think I've ever heard someone talk anything good about that game. Like other than
Dude,
like it does look good. It looks good. Like
I was online and I saw a few days ago that Riley already platinumed Persona 5 Royal, and that's a Persona game that came out 3 weeks ago. That's insane to me. I mean, like obviously it's Riley, and that's like his lifeblood is Persona, but
he
like
got
that
the
was
collector
insane
he
to
got
me.
the like well cuz so he got the collector's edition for Persona 5, right? He also
Yeah,
got the collector's edition for Royal.
I mean that's understandable. If you're that big of a fan of the series, like you should.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you play Persona 5?
I actually didn't beat it. I probably played through like maybe a little bit less than half of it, so I'm
Dude,
probably gonna buy Royal and just restart it and
dude,
play through
that
all of it.
game's just presentation
It's
is
beautiful. Yeah, it's
is
so stylized. It's
it's so
beautiful.
amazing. It's incredible. Like it's actually
Mhm.
like from the actual style of it to the music. Oh my
Mhm.
god, the music. That that composer, I think he needs
Yeah,
way more praise. He needs way
I
more
have to
praise.
agree with Riley that P3 is the best one. but
Yes.
5 is also super good. P3's music is just like in a class of its own. Like,
Oh, dude, nothing like. Oh, it really is. It it
it
really
makes me want
is.
to cry when I think
Pers-
about it.
did you? I think Persona 3 is the best game personally. I know you're a huge fan of 4, and I can't fault you for liking 4 more. I just I do like the grittier tone of 3, so maybe that's just personally like my personal thing on that. So,
No, no, I can get behind that. And yeah, there's just like a whole different style to the music and just like the world you explore. I mean,
oh yeah,
obviously 4 has more stuff to do and like make some improvements, but yeah, 3 is just like super classic for a lot of reasons.
yeah. So, anyway, there's Big E back.
What's up, Biggie? Yeah, did you have any other questions you wanted to pose me?
Yeah, so a few here still. Uh, so Colin, you're a man of media. You're a man of news reporting,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, you look on like pretty much any you look on a lot of platforms. People like talk about the media is doing this, the media is overhyping it. No one ever really wants to define
Mhm.
what media is, right? You're a news outlet, right? How do you
Yeah.
feel the news has covered coronavirus? Do you think it's been like whenever I read the news, whenever I read social media or look at different articles posted on social media from a couple different sources, there's a lot of like conflicting information, right? Some people are like, oh, we're doing all the right virus. I don't know what that sound was.
That was a
Uh,
notification from Colin, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was my work email.
You're good. You're good.
cool. Uh,
But
a lot of people talk about like, oh, this is overkill, everything we're doing. A lot of people are like, oh, well, if we reopen business now, the virus is gonna have a resurgence, etc. There's a lot of like conflicting views, and no, it seems like everyone's an expert today. You know what I mean? Have you guys experienced like a similar type of feeling, a similar type of
Well,
conversation amongst the people you
so
interact with?
how about well, one thing I will say is I think Florida announced that they're going to be opening up their beaches back
Yes,
up pretty soon,
I did. That is a thing.
and I find the I find the feedback from the people to be the most surprising part. Um, the people are mad that they're opening back up. They're like I saw a comment today of someone saying, "Why is Florida still a state of why is Florida still a part of the U.S.?" Like, I was like, "What? Like, Florida has never been an issue, like ever. Like what? Like, are you
mm,
serious?" I was like, "What
If
is
we're gonna start
this?"
getting rid of
Like,
states, like
yeah,
there's
that's
a
something
few that are
for
listen, Florida of all
they're
things.
on
You know
thin
what I mean?
ice.
huh?
That's actually my dad's living now. I don't know how much I've talked to you about this. Okay, but you asked me a different question.
So
We can
what
talk.
I was getting at is, it seems like everyone's an expert. It seems like every other news source has a different take on these things, and
Hmm.
maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just like the weird conglomeration of people I'm friends with on social media and the weird conglomeration of news sources that I read because I try to read a little bit of everything. But
Mm,
how do you feel? How do you feel the news? How do you feel like reporting? How do you feel journalism has covered this? Do you think it's been accurate? Do you think it's been balanced? Like, what do you think? You're a man in the business.
um, so my my ethical theory when it comes to journalism is that everybody should come into it with a sense of media literacy, and know which sources they want to read and which sources they don't, whether those are sources that support their opinion or don't support their opinion. Everybody's going to make choices about what sources they trust more so than clicking on random articles. I think that people are more likely to flock to their favorite source every day than they are to just click on random shit. But I have no idea. That's at least my approach to it. I've always looked at it as you should know what your media biases are before you start reading anything, and you should go into what you read and choose what you read based on that. But obviously, a lot of people are stupid, and media literacy just isn't a thing, so they can't differentiate between what articles are trying to be genuine, what articles are written by people who actually give a shit, and like what articles are just kind of written to what articles are just kind of written to sensationalize something and get clicks to make ad revenue. Um, I think it's up to I don't know. I'm always of the opinion that everybody should make their own choices as to what to read. I think a lot of the media out. I think that you should only right
Uh,
now in this
can
situation.
you re-say what you just said? Because I think we, at least I lost your audio for a second. I don't know if we all
I
did.
didn't think I did. I thought I was fine. Although you have someone wanting to bully you, Colin. Like, or no, no, not bully you. Somebody wants you to bully them in chat.
All
What do
right.
you
Well,
mean?
let him finish his point
Yeah,
first
yeah, yeah.
before
Finish your point.
we gratify our fault. This dude in the chat's like fantasy.
His
I
fantasy.
don't insult him. He's a loyal listener. I'd love to respond to him in a second here. But hold on once. Let me sum this up. So Trump has said, listen to your state governors, and that's something I agree with him.
I
You should
th
only listen to what your state governors are saying. If a news outlet reports on something right now and it's not something about what your state governor is saying, don't fucking read it. Like it doesn't. It's not going to be relevant. Don't
mhm.
read it. It's just speculation. Just people sharing shit on Facebook because they want to reinforce their opinions.
Well, there's also like just the like news outlets alone, from what I've noticed personally. Um, they literally say different things every day. Like one thing, this will be okay for you to do, and then the next day they're like, wait, no, 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 that's dangerous. That'll get you sick. And it's like what
But the news,
you're
but
changing all that stuff every day. Like why am I listening to
but it's
what
not
you're
the
trying
news
to
outlet
say?
reporter in general that's changing that thing every day. It's a quote from a government official or a health official that's changing that every day. A journalist
I
wouldn't
guess
just
that's
come out and
true.
say what's right to do. They're responding to, what the CDC says or what Dr.
Okay, okay,
Fauci says
okay,
or
that's
anybody
true.
else.
That's true. I mean, the safest thing you can do is literally stay home. So, which was
Yeah,
not the
I
case on
mean,
Wednesday. Which was
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
case on Wednesday.
Fuck
if
that.
the media seems volatile and if the media seems like they're always changing their opinion, it's because they're talking to officials who are always changing their opinion. We rely on quotes and statistics and facts from people in power, to do our job. So if that information is incorrect, so be it. But at the same time, if it seems like we're constantly pivoting our opinion, um, we're not. It's not our opinion. It's other people's
Mhm.
opinions that we're just reporting on. It's people who know more about the situation than us,
Oh wait,
I
it's
guess.
not
And
coming
that's actually
through.
like a really positive fucking what you just said is like a very
We
positive
are
like
lagging.
viewpoint to have because a lot of people like blame the media.
Yeah.
And I first of all, I hate the term that I just used, the media, because like I
I
like to
mean, that's
think that
fine.
like whatever news outlet you're going to is its own entity, and
Right.
I obviously know if I'm reading one news outlet versus another, they may have two completely different slants. I just
Mhm.
assume everything I read is biased one way or the other.
Oh yeah, I mean, no matter what, if you're reading a big, so you're either reading something from a big media company or a small media company. If it's a
Right.
big media company, it's either going to lean left or right, pretty much all the time. No matter what it is. CNN leads left, Fox leads right, and those are two of the biggest media companies in the entire
And
world.
I think that's a pretty well known fact. I think most people know that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, exactly.
I should hope.
I don't know. People are ignorant though. Some people might not. Some people just know things, but they don't put in the technical, like the thought and analysis to really consider what that means and what effect that could have on their life. If that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. Um, yeah. I mean, the main thing I read is BBC because they are like, yes, they lean
BBC
left
is
because they're
tight.
British, but
Yeah.
like
No, they
they
do a good.
they they lean left, but they report facts. They don't like put hyperbole or anything sensationalized in their coverage. You know,
Mhm.
so
No, I
that
can get behind
that I
BBC
enjoy.
as opposed to ABC, NBC, Fox, CNN. Like, yeah, those guys. like money a lot, too much.
Too
He
much.
fills with it.
Um, but no, that the other thing that frustrates me at least is like today I saw it. A guy was sharing an article about the coronavirus or whatever the fuck, and like, oh, this thing makes you sick or wearing a mask helps you or doesn't help you keep from getting sick, like whatever. I looked at it. The article is from like March 2nd, a month old. Like people aren't checking like the dates on these things, and you know, in any
Yeah,
other climate, the date wouldn't. A month old would be still a valid source, but like whenever
exactly.
this is like a science that we're not really on the up and up. Things are changing week to week, and we're not really like a month old is old information. You can't be passing that around.
No, that's a really good point. Datelines are super important right now. A lot of people will just skip over that kind of basic information at the beginning of an article, at the beginning of a story, even though it's right there laid out in front of them, and kind of ignore it. I mean, even myself, I'll read an article and I'll be like, I won't check the dateline. I'll just assume because it's the first thing that popped up when I Googled something that's the most recent piece of information on it, but it's not. These search engines aren't that smart. They
Yeah,
try to be, but you gotta. I mean, that's one thing I've learned as a journalist. Like, even though the internet makes things super convenient, like you still have to do a bit of digging through a few different articles and a few different sources if you want to make if you want to form a proper opinion on something. Like, it's gonna be a bit less convenient than you want it to be, but that's how it is.
yeah. Nobody like I don't say nobody, but I don't even say the vast majority, but a good number of people do not want to put in the work to.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just use Twitter to get their news and stuff like that, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But I don't know. I think there are a few different. If you like, news gets so general if you only look at it through like a social media lens. Hold on one sec. I have to take another piss.
Go ahead,
Hey,
go ahead.
I mean that's why I disappeared. Nothing like
Yeah.
taking a piss in the rain. Like all kinds of things are getting wet.
All
Uh,
kinds of things. I wonder if
dude.
it's my
So
my
while
PC.
while Colin's gone, we're taking a brief intermission from a very intellectual heavy conversation. Peyton, I have been watching Cowboy Bebop this week.
Yeah?
I hadn't finished it yet. I got like the last two episodes. Part one of the what is it? The Old School Blues is the title of the credits
Yeah.
credit song.
Yeah.
It's not Old School Blues. It's something
Something
the
like
blues,
that, yeah. But how are you liking
and
it?
that's the title of the last two. Dude, I fucking love it, bro. It's way better
Yeah!
than
Dude,
like I knew it
Cowboy
was gonna be
Bebop
good
is
because everyone says it's gonna
sick.
be good.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be both dramatic and funny, but it's not so funny that it's
Dude,
like
he
I'm
started.
watching this for the comedy,
Guess what he
you
brought
know?
up? Guess what he brought up? And that that he's really liking like a lot.
What?
Cowboy
What?
fucking Bebop.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that. Oh my god, that show is so well stylized. The music is fucking incredible.
Dude,
Uh,
best music of any anime I've watched. Fucking
Easily.
possibly
Oh
any
yeah, it's like
Well,
television
half
show.
the point of that
well,
show.
your
Tank,
name's
the main
music.
theme,
I
insane.
guess. Well, your name's music is literally designed for the show, though. Like it's literally like built around
Oh
the whole
man, I
editing and
could go on
everything.
about Your Name, Peyton.
Dude,
I watched Your Name at an anime convention in like a room full of people, just all reacting to like all the emotional stuff, like super vividly, and like what a good experience to watch that movie. And God,
I did watch it in theaters, and seeing that
hmm
film on the big screen is absolutely stunning.
insane.
It's so
Yeah,
stunning. It's
it's a it's a great fucking film.
I although Ethan only watched it on a TV, but like I will say, Ethan, it is watching it on a TV is a not a disservice, but you definitely are missing out watching it on just the TV, just
I
because the animation of
I
that
would
film
love
is so
I would love
beautiful.
that.
Um, but
Yeah. I do like the music in Cowboy Bebop better than the music in Your Name, but Your Name's music is pretty good.
well, I mean, like it's hard to like really like talk about both of them because both of them are used in such different ways. Because like your name's music was made like right like the the director was like, all right, write songs. Here's what the story's basically going to be about. Make the music. He made then the band made the music, and then he built the scenes and animations and from scene to scene based around the beats of the music.
Right.
So like
As long as we can all agree. Okay, sorry, Peyton. I'm
no,
sorry.
you're good.
I
You're good.
cut
Keep
you
going.
off. Keep
No, no,
going.
no, go. You're good.
No, you keep going, bro. You
I
were
was
talking.
basically done. So
As long as we can agree that the greatest Joe Hisaishi of Studio Ghibli
what was
fame,
it?
he pretty much did all their soundtracks, and obviously they're god
Uh,
tier.
oh, the composer.
I'm
Yeah,
not quite that deep in the culture to know what you're talking about, but yeah, I will
Ghibli.
say I know what Ghibli is. I just don't
Will
know the
give you
names of the
more in the
fucking composers
and
of these films.
Mm.
that's fair. Well, you should watch more Ghibli movies. You should definitely watch Porco Rosso and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
It's on
Both the
my
dubs.
list.
Those are okay. Good.
Yeah.
The dubs of both those movies are insane. The dub of Nausicaa has Patrick Stewart and Uma Thurman in it, and then the dub of Porco Rosso has Michael Keaton as the main character, which is great.
What?
That's cool.
That's actually super
That's
sick.
cool.
He plays
Um,
Porco.
That
It's so good.
I want to, but the two like animated movies that are very high on my list are Akira, because I haven't seen Akira yet.
I watched that this
You,
week, dude. I watched
you haven't
Akira
seen
earlier this week. It's on Hulu, dude.
No, I haven't.
I
I
watched
haven't.
it with Elliot this week.
Peyton,
Ah,
I'm gonna beat your ass if you
I
don't
have
watch
no.
Akira this week.
Akira
Okay.
is fucking wild, dude.
Is
That
it
movie's
good? Is it?
insanely good.
I know it's good, but like,
It's it's a little bit like Blade Runner, a little overhyped, but it's really good.
okay.
Do you want to borrow the Blu-ray, Peyton? I got the.
Oh, I mean, how am I gonna get it?
On Hulu.
How
I
I don't
can
have
mail it to
Hulu,
you.
Ethan.
Just come to my house.
I
We have
can't.
What? Peyton, you can stream anything for free online.
I
Type in "Watch Akira
know.
free," like yeah,
Type
HD.
watch.
Like yeah, no.
So and then
Akira is a must view movie as far as I'm concerned.
the other one.
We only started talking about anime because Colin was
Okay,
taking a piss. Do we want to talk about news some more and
let's
then come back to
finish.
anime like towards the end?
Yeah, well, let's finish the topic on yeah, let's go back to the news because I want Colin's like what I want Colin's the thing that I want Colin to, well, I mean he doesn't have to, but like I'm curious on what Colin's opinion is on how the media is handling the whole like situation at hand. Like, are they overhyping it? Are they overplaying the fear to try and keep people away as like to keep people from going out as much? Like, like I'm curious on what his opinion is on like that whole situation. And then I want to tell him about my conspiracy theory.
Okay. Well, the way I see it is like the media doesn't really overhype anything. I mean, some people might think so because their agenda that with whatever the media is saying, but the media, as I was sort of saying earlier, kind of only reacts to what people say and what people do. So if people in power aren't doing and saying things that aren't relevant, then the media really shift that way. I don't. I mean, well, a lot of media, like I said, like CNN and Fox, both lean in obviously very different directions and have their own various agendas based on the story or based on the topic. I don't think most media has like an agenda that they're trying to push by themselves. I think a lot of it's grounded in fact. While I think that COVID-19 reporting might be like everywhere and it might be annoying, like the fact that it is everywhere and maybe every the fact of the matter is that all the stuff that's newsworthy, and as somebody who studied news for 4 years, just some things are newsworthy and some things aren't. Everything that's newsworthy right now is COVID related, at least in my sector, what I'm reporting on.
Hmm. Okay. All right.
W- so,
Your mic is like not like I don't know if it's muted or if I just can't hear you or
How about now?
oh that's good. That's good.
So I think the problem with like talking about the media is like that's such a broad term. As
Yeah.
like when we say media, do we need Fox, CNN, MSN? Or we okay? So those are the big three. Two, one leans left, one is super left and right. If you're not an idiot, you know which ones I'm talking about. Then you have like smaller news sources like WPXI, Channel 11, smaller news sources, local news. Those don't really lean left one way or the other. And then you have international BBC, Sky News. Sky News is more right, but you have those, and those all get lumped together in as the media, and along with like Washington Post, New York Times, and then of course you have the Huffington Post, which is borderline satire. Like, no, I don't call it Huffington Post. It's satire is the wrong word. Borderline clickbait.
Garbage.
Yeah. Um, that all gets lumped in as the media, and it's like the problem is like people. My problem when I watch any broadcast, it's like, oh, the media this, the media that, the media is not. The media loves Trump. The media hates Trump. We've all seen these
Oh,
headlines.
it's Ryan. That's who's in the
It's
chat.
a, it's that's all. You're the problem with calling it all the media is you're combining like a whole bunch of different news outlets with wildly different viewpoints, wildly different like